On this episode, we talk about Paige and Charlotte's contract signing, Triple H recruiting for the Authority, the quarterfinals of the WWE Title Tournament, our Survivor Series predictions, your questions, and more now on Byte That. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 117 of Byte That's Wrestling Podcast, a weekly show where we discuss the latest and greatest in WWE and maybe the rest of professional wrestling. Spoilers?
Probably not.
Probably just going to be about WWE. We are available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and of course, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ByteThatCast, where you can get a ton more content, including WWE 2K16 content, as well as discussion videos outside of the weekly Raw discussion. My name is Ryan McNulty. I come from Boston, Massachusetts, home of the undefeated New England Patriots. Just like to slide that in there. And of course, with me this week from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Mr. Keith Poshik.
Ryan, you're so rude. You didn't even say hello to our audience. You're just like, oh, yep, it's the show. You know, at least Juan says like, hey, everyone. You know, Juan's a nice man.
I was doing a more formal introduction, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to go a little Paul Heyman-ish, you know?
Well, I guess so.
Even though I have like just a fraction of the talent.
Say you're going to sit down, have a coffee with a friend. You're not going to be like, sir or madam, thank you for joining me for this cup of tea or coffee. You're going to be like,
maybe I will.
Well, then maybe mine and your social skills are on different levels. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
My social skills are pretty bad. Let's be real here. Anyway, of course, you've noticed there is no Juan. You know, maybe you're a little disappointed that you're stuck with us this week, but you know what? The show must go on. You know, tough luck. You're stuck with us, guys. Mm-hmm. Deal with it, okay?
And if we sound like the same person, then enjoy this next hour of a schizophrenic man.
For the people that think we sound exactly alike, just...
good luck.
Just pretend it's one guy, just one insane person, just having a conversation with themselves, talking about wrestling, because that's exactly what they would do in that situation. So, all right, let's just jump right into the go-home show to Survivor Series. Came up on us pretty quick.
It did.
So last week we had quite a gripe about the entire Undertaker, you know, Brothers of Destruction, just wrecking the Wyatt family, just absolutely destroying them after we thought Bray Wyatt had stolen their powers. Mm-hmm. So we open Raw with a segment where basically the Brothers of Destruction come out and say, you know, our evil is stronger than your evil, you know, to sum it up real quick. And then the Wyatt family comes out and, you know, Wyatt's still trying to say he's the new face of fear, even though he just got annihilated last week.
It feels like we've been here before, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And then, of course, he turns the Druids on the Brothers of Destruction, and they proceed to dismantle them in like 3 seconds. So my question to you, Keith, is, did this segment do anything to redeem last week at all?
Nope. You know, maybe if the Druids got the beatdown, like a successful beatdown on the Brothers of Destruction, maybe it might have a little bit, but no, absolutely not. It's just, you make the Brothers of Destruction seem invincible at this point. So how are you supposed to believe that Bray Wyatt is still some threat and that he's just not, him and his family aren't going to get obliterated at Survivor Series? Like, there's no consequence anymore. And really this week just further hit that home.
Yeah, and of course we're going to get into, you know, who we actually think is going to win and lose. We're going to do our predictions in the second half of the show. But as far as just talking build, it's like regardless of outcome, the build, you know, even if it goes the opposite, you know, even if the Wyatts win, it's like you kind of have to say like, well, the build didn't really make them look like a threat to get you interested enough in the match. So it might seem a little out of place.
Because even if they win at Survivor Series, it's going to feel like an underdog victory, right? When you've spent this whole time, like, with Bray Wyatt stealing all the powers, you're supposed to feel like this all-powerful, mythical being at this point, but yet he's still an underdog to The Undertaker. That's I don't know. It's this weird situation.
You want him to be like a comparable power, so that it does feel like a true passing of the torch and not like a lucky victory or something like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, anyway, this segment, it's like Brothers of Destruction still maybe looking a little too strong, and we wanted to see a little more from the Wyatt family.
What do you think of Undertaker's promos, using the lens of last night as an example? Like, do they come off as just super cheesy to you? Like, I love The Undertaker, don't get me wrong, one of the best ever, but the whole, I'll face you at the gates of hell and vengeance will strike down and there will be no mercy at Hell in a Cell thing going on is, it's getting to be a little much.
It is. It's been better the past couple times than it was like maybe one of his first promos for like Brock Lesnar. I don't know if it was for SummerSlam or Hell in a Cell, but one of the earlier promos, he was like at a really slow pace where people were saying he was channeling that kid from Malcolm in the Middle, the kid who like Stevie or something was his name, where he's like, hello. My name is The Undertaker. He's picked up the pace, so it's better than that.
But still, even the wording, like, it's kind of like, the gates of hell and vengeance will rise upon you, and our evil's stronger than your evil. It's super lame.
It is, but that's kind of... What's this whole feud been?
There's
it's
good
been this
lame, and then there's bad lame. That is bad lame.
I think it was on an even enough playing field. I mean, I think that's just kind of, it comes with the territory. To me, though, Kane definitely kind of sounded smoother on the mic, though. You know, he was saying the same kind of cheesy stuff, too. But it just maybe came off more naturally.
When he wasn't really enunciating the L's in hell, he sounded really good. Like, we're going to the gates of hell. And stuff. That was a little weird.
You could tell Kane was trying to put a little more Undertaker in his promo than he usually does.
Absolutely.
Either way, kind of a weak segment. We would have liked to see a little bit more from the Wyatt family to show a little bit of dominance, but we'll have to see in our predictions where we think, which direction that's going to go. So, of course, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament continued. We got the quarter-final matches, I should say.
There you go.
But along with this was Triple H going, in authority mode, basically, even though Reigns turned down joining the authority last week, it's clear that Triple H is still searching for a guy. So that is going to lead to a heavy indication that at Survivor Series, somebody is going to reveal themselves as Triple H's guy. Yep. So what did you think of, Triple H kind of going around and trying to recruit, several of the competitors in the tournament?
I thought it was really good, and by proxy, it made Roman Reigns look stronger, because now it almost seems like Triple H, well, he's still this authoritative figure. In a way, he's kind of a desperate figure, because he's got in the back of his head that, Roman is probably gonna win if I don't do something about this. So let's find a guy, let's invest in this guy, and then knock Roman down. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's Triple H. It's, he's finding his identity again. He's not just this, hey, we're the host of Monday Night Raw, you're gonna see all these awesome, cool matches. No, he's like, we need a guy to represent the authority. He's talking to Kevin Owens. He's talking to Del Rio. He's talking to Cesaro even. So I thought that was pretty cool. Incidentally enough, we did not see him talk to Dean Ambrose. So does that mean something? Are they trying to get us to think that something's going to happen there? Who knows? What did you think about his specifically him talking to Cesaro?
I don't know why they keep bringing up this whole brass ring thing in association with Cesaro, because it's almost
they can't get off the whole Stone Cold podcast thing.
Exactly, but it comes off in a way like, guys, nudge the shoulder. We get it, but we're still not going to do anything about it, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, we can talking about some of the matches, of course. Roman Reigns versus Cesaro.
Put on a hell of a match.
Yeah, excellent match.
That's really been the best thing about this whole WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament. Just all the matches have been top notch across the board.
Exactly. It's forced them to put some quality matches, quality important matches on TV. And yeah, definitely for me, the match of the night was Reigns versus Cesaro. And you know what? Maybe a lot of people were upset that Cesaro wasn't going to advance, but what did you expect to happen?
Guys, really?
Yeah.
I noticed that on social media as well. Like, people were surprised that Roman Reigns won. Like, really?
Yeah, they could have made Cesaro look a lot worse, but he was hanging in there. They had quite a back and forth ending where there was, moments where you even believed maybe Cesaro could win, even though you knew it wasn't actually going to happen. So it's like, either way, Cesaro comes out of this looking great. He's still kind of, if he's hanging with a guy like Roman Reigns, who they see as basically the next guy, then that can't be bad for him.
Absolutely
with
not.
Rollins out, this leaves an opening for other guys to step up, and it's clear that they at least see Cesaro as an important asset. And one thing I kind of want to bring up, because I was thinking today just on the ride home from work, I was like, Cesaro could easily get that like Daniel Bryan type spot where he's, maybe he's not the guy, but he could be kind of like their workhorse guy who's in that upper to main event spot.
Absolutely. And I think in a way, he kind of already is. Like, yeah, he's not in the main event every single time, but most of the show's high points involve Cesaro, like Cesaro matches and stuff. So maybe he's not in the quote main event picture, but that doesn't mean that he's like not high up on the card. Like, they rely on Cesaro for those great matches and those great match segments. So I would say Cesaro's there, even though he's not directly in the main event.
Yeah, I think the only thing that makes him not there is consistent booking. Is basically, he needs that Team Hell No thing to happen. And I'm not saying he necessarily has to be in a tag team, but like Daniel Bryan's kind of Team Hell No run for a year was him being in like a crucial spot on the card for a year straight where the crowd really got behind him. Mm-hmm. So I think if he can just be consistently booked in an important spot for a long period of time, the crowd is already catching on to him, and that will just kind of have him just kind of be a staple at the top of the card. And then, yeah, maybe,
And I think that will absolutely happen, just not right now.
Yeah, I mean, Cesaro's really just lacked that consistency of like, sometimes he's in important matches, other times he just doesn't matter. But it really looks like he's taken a step forward in recent months to where he is becoming a more important part of the show.
Absolutely.
So, we'll have to see where that continues. Other matches, of course, we had Del Rio beat Kalisto in an interesting match. I was a little disappointed by this match. I expected a little bit more. I thought it was fine for what it was.
It was the worst of the championship tournament matches. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it felt like your normal Monday Night Raw match. It wasn't very special.
Exactly. I think we might have all expected a little more because, you can't help but always think of Kalisto as, the next Rey Mysterio type, and, Rey and Del Rio, of course, had a ton of chemistry and worked
Absolutely.
a lot of matches.
And they put this match on as the main event, so that kind of sets your expectations high with that alone.
That actually baffled me, that was the match that went on last. I was very surprised that Cesaro and Reigns went on, like, what was it? Was it at the start of the 10 o'clock hour?
Yep.
I think. But at the same time, as those words are leaving my mouth, it kind of reminds me that lately Raw's had a very weak third hour as far as ratings have gone. So they absolutely did that to, pull in the ratings and try and keep people around for that last hour. So that actually makes sense why they did it the way that they did. Of course, Ambrose defeated Dolph Ziggler in a great match, as well as Kevin Owens defeated Neville. So your finals, your semifinals. I'll finally get it right.
You'll get there.
Your semifinals for Survivor Series, you're going to get Del Rio versus Roman Reigns and Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, conveniently lining up to have face versus heel and face versus heel. But if they had it any other way, it might be a little too predictable. So
Absolutely.
I think, not that it's not already sort of predictable, but
I think half of it is.
Yes.
I think they're on the right side of that tournament bracket is a very interesting place right
Absolutely. So speaking of that right side of the bracket, which includes Kevin Owens, there's a cool video. I believe it's exclusive to the WWE Facebook. And this was before Monday Night Raw, where Tom Phillips interviews Kevin Owens. And he's like, Kevin Owens is like hiding, just relaxing at the top of this like thing that stores the lights for the show. And Tom Phillips interviews him. And it's a pretty funny interview, and you kind of see a little bit of a different side of Kevin Owens, and it looks like a lot of it's improvised, but, you know, WWE kind of hides these little gems on either the .com site or the Facebook, so go to the Facebook videos for WWE to check that out, because it's actually pretty funny and totally worth checking out.
Absolutely.
All right, so to end Monday Night Raw, this is going to probably bring out quite a bit of discussion. I was very surprised that this ended Monday Night Raw. It was the Divas Championship contract signing. So we had Paige.
Was this a first? I think it was a first.
Specifically a Divas contract signing ending Raw. Actually, I don't think it was.
Oh.
Was the Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon thing.
Oh, yes.
I think that ended Monday Night Raw once, but It wasn't for the Divas Championship. So maybe you can say that
it's like one of those weird authority technical firsts. Like you're going to see the first time the Big Show and Daniel Bryan fight in a cage on Raw.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is the first time a Divas Championship contract signing has ended Raw. So it was Charlotte and Paige, doing this contract signing. It was just a little weird. I was very surprised that this was ending the show. Some people speculated they were capitalizing off of, women's MMA, because there was a, big thing went down with Ronda Rousey losing her first fight to Holly Holm. Mm-hmm. So that kind of shocked everybody, and maybe they were trying to go along with the whole women's movement thing, or maybe they're just experimenting. Ratings once again were at an all-time low last week. Even though the shows have been better, the ratings keep going down. Unfortunately, they're not getting people to stick around. So maybe they're really just throwing crap at the wall to see what sticks. And they're hey, what happens? Yeah, what happens if we end it with this contract signing? So just kind of your overall thoughts on the contract signing.
I both liked it and hated it at the exact same time. There are things that I thought were great about it. Like, I think Paige is incredible. But then there were things I hated about it, like Charlotte on a microphone. That was very awkward. It was very clunky. But I guess it was all right.
Yeah, see, it was very weird to evaluate. I think, at the beginning, when Charlotte was talking, she sounded like she was going to cry. And of course, knowing where she went with the promo, I totally understood why, but it was just very confusing at first, because I was like, is she sounding like she's about to cry? And then of course, when she brings up her, her brother Reed Flair, who of course died of an overdose in 2013. So they were bringing some real emotions into this feud. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, really.
This whole just kind of backstep a bit. The kind of the more baffling thing about the contract signing was that this wasn't really pegged as a really integral part of this Survivor Series card for all these weeks leading up. It was just kind of there, and then all of a sudden it ends the show, and they try and throw everything into this feud at once in this one segment. I think is what just kind of made it weird. Anyway, Charlotte, I think, I give her all the credit in the world for getting through this promo that had some real life behind it. There was some real emotion there, and I give her a lot of credit for going through it. Although I can't help but feel like her delivery just seemed a little off. It's
the little things. Like, I consider this segment good, even great, in the way that it made you feel emotion, right? Whether it was feeling bad for Charlotte, wanting to get through it, or feeling like negativity toward Paige. Like, oh man, you just said that, didn't you? I thought it was very successful in creating that emotion. But like you said, Charlotte's delivery was just so off. Like, I think the moment that really stands out and that you can point to is when Michael Cole was talking and she just talks over him like this. It was very weird. It was very clunky.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. Paige, Paige, I think, just has a more natural delivery. Some people might disagree with me, but I think
she's really good at that character. Maybe a little too good.
Yeah. And apparently Michael Cole's trying to get Charlotte to sign the contract the whole time. I didn't even notice this until I was reading people talking about it afterwards. He kept telling her to sign the contract and she never signed it. So is this match still on? Who knows? Maybe they have to re-sign it on SmackDown. Or they'll just probably never address it and they'll be like, oh, she signed it in the back. Don't worry about it. But WWE, to their credit, being experimental, ending it with this segment, of course, where it really gets controversial. Paige, I forget exactly what she said, but basically,
something
she made
about
a comment
Reed not being much of a fighter.
Yes,
or something
exactly.
like that.
Saying that Reed Flair wasn't much of a fighter to kind of instigate this fight. So we have to assume, the Flair family was okay with bringing this real life situation into the story to try and add some heat to it. I never really like when they do this. I mean, if the family's okay with it, I guess it's fine, but it never quite sits well with me.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's the most important part. If the family's okay, then go with it, because the WWE doesn't exactly have the best track record of using this stuff tastefully. Now, there are good examples, like I would consider when Paul Bearer passed away, CM Punk's use of the urn and stuff like that. that was pretty good. Stuff. That was pretty good. And because there was consent from the family, then I think that's A-okay. But I don't know, stuff like that never really bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the worst things they did for sure was the whole Eddie Guerrero storyline. I feel like that was exploitation to the max. This is just kind of I'm assuming a one-off thing for promo, so it's not as bad. It's been some time. Not that it hurts any worse for the family, but it's been a significant amount of time that it didn't seem like it was something they were trying to capitalize on immediately in any way. And it was just a way to really kind of heat up this rivalry as fast as possible, because they haven't had much outside of Paige's initial attack, which was like a month ago. And aside from that, it's just been a lot of bickering and not too much else. So they really they put this feud on at 100 miles an hour in this last segment. And for what it was, it was all right, and an okay way to end Raw. Not the greatest, but good enough.
But Ryan, I leave you with one simple question,
and that is,
who started the Divas Revolution?
Nobody knows, man. Everyone will tell you it was them. Maybe it was you, Keith.
Maybe I did start the Divas Revolution. Maybe I slept walk to wherever they were and hit a button or turned a key and said, activate the revolution. And then that was the start of the Divas Revolution. Maybe I did.
It's true. Yeah. Or the world may never know.
Indeed.
But there are things you should know, and that is the announcements that we have. Just a few quick announcements, of course. This Thursday, the SRTs come back. Been a little while since we've had one of those, so we're happy to have those back. We had a lot of great suggestions from you guys when you entered that 2K16 giveaway, so we are trying to
thank you for those.
Your suggestions. Yes, we appreciate them. So the SRT that's going up this Thursday is about the mid-card division, and what does it take to be successful in WWE? Can you be a success just staying in the mid-card for your whole career? And what does it mean to be successful in WWE today versus what it meant to be successful in WWE maybe 10 or 20 years ago? So that was actually a really cool discussion. So make sure to go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ByteThatCast. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, watch that this Thursday. An update on Juan's hard drive.
Breaking news.
Situation. Yes, we have good news, everyone. Juan's hard drive, he's got a new one. He's transferred all his stuff over. Yay! He did lose some stuff, but
no Byte that stuff, and that's what matters.
Yeah, lucky for you guys, it had no Byte that stuff was lost. So we're back on track. Fight Night is back on track. So you don't have to worry about any of that. We got our Survivor Series predictions coming up. So let's just dive right into them.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what? We were just talking about it. We have for our first match in the predictions, Charlotte versus Paige for the WWE Championship. Whoa. Let me start with it.
The WWE champion. Wait, did this tournament have like a secret contender round or something like that?
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Let me recollect myself after that.
Okay, give you
just
a moment.
Absolute debacle. Okay. Survivor Series predictions. Let's get into what we were just talking about. The WWE Divas Championship. We have Charlotte versus Paige. Keith, who's going to win?
Charlotte. I don't think it's time for her to lose the championship yet. She just won it. So why would you give it to Paige right now? Let her build the feud. Let Paige's character get more desperate, and then eventually maybe around the Royal Rumble time, maybe take the title off of Charlotte.
All right, I am going to agree with you. I think Charlotte is definitely going to win here. I expect this feud to go on beyond Survivor Series, but I think Charlotte is going to keep holding it. I think they're kind of warming the title up for someone like Sasha Banks, maybe further down the line, but I think they want to give Charlotte a healthy reign. So we do have Juan's predictions, so we'll be able to give his take. He was kind enough to answer. So Juan says that Charlotte is going to win. New world champion going to be crowned. So they'll save this switch for the next pay-per-view.
Nah.
Paige going to try and be cheap, but it won't work.
I think Juan's pretty on the button there.
Yeah.
It's no Kevin Owens like Bray Wyatt, but hey.
Yeah. All right, so we all agree with Charlotte winning there. The next match is the Brothers of Destruction versus the Wyatt family. Keith.
I honestly think the Wyatt family's going to win this one. I think it's going to happen because, well, it's one of those things with The Undertaker at this point, you never know.
Yeah.
I always have the streak thing in the back of my mind. Like, it seemed so obvious that The Undertaker was going to beat Brock Lesnar, but nope, that didn't happen. So they're building it the same way where it just seems so obvious that the Brothers of Destruction are going to win that I think the Wyatt family are going to pull out the victory. And I think the wild card in this match is the fact that Kane is in it. So I think, has Bray said the two members he's going to pick?
No, and I should clarify that it's 2 versus 2. It's any 2 Wyatt family members versus the Brothers of Destruction. As far as I know, they have not chosen that yet, so maybe SmackDown?
I'm going to say no matter who it is, Braun Strowman is going to pin Kane.
I'm assuming it's going to be Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. Maybe Bray. I feel like Bray is going to be in this match.
I'm feeling more like Strowman and Harper, personally. Like, and then they say
no
maybe...
love for Rowan.
No love for Rowan. I mean, Big Red's just going to be on the sidelines being a cheerleader. But I think they're... yeah, I think it's going to be Harper and Strowman.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to save the surprise for Survivor Series or if they're going to announce that on SmackDown. I myself am also going to go with the Wyatt family. This build has been so lopsided in favor of the Brothers of Destruction that you have to believe that they give the Wyatt family the win here. They desperately need it. If the Brothers of Destruction... yeah, they so desperately need it. If the Brothers of Destruction win, it's like, it's basically over for Bray Wyatt. Pretty much. Like, he'll have no credibility. Anyway, Juan's prediction is also the Wyatt family. He said, I'll be surprised if they lose the tag match. Kane will most likely get pinned, and there will be no interaction between Undertaker and Bray, who will not wrestle in the match. Gotta save it for the Rumble or Mania, or they'll just blow it off at the next pay-per-view.
I agree with Juan.
You know, you could be right. We all know Braun Strowman will be in this match, so maybe it will just be Harper. And then they can, save the build for Bray Wyatt.
But, okay, side note, do you think this is it for The Undertaker Wyatt?
This match is it?
Yeah.
or that it'll continue. Oh, no, I think they're going to have at least one more match. So whether that's TLC or Royal Rumble, I don't know. I mean, Undertaker's had a hell of a streak of just pay-per-view. I mean, he's been in every pay-per-view since SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
This is 3 pay-per-views in a row. Maybe he's just streaking all the pay-per-views.
No, it wasn't at
to
Night of
WrestleMania.
Champions. So.
Oh, that's right. You know what? He was not at Night of Champions. Good catch there.
Never mind.
I still think, yeah, so maybe they'll save it for Royal Rumble, probably. So if I go to TLC, I won't get to see that. Sad. Anyway, world title semifinal, Owens versus Ambrose.
I think it's going to be Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is going to beat Dean Ambrose. It's going to be a hell of a match. I'm going to go as far as saying that this is going to be match of the night. And Owens is going to get a victory.
All right, I'm going with Dean Ambrose. I think Ambrose is going to the finals. I really can't see it any other way.
See, that's why I think Kevin Owens is going to win, because that match seems so obvious, right? So,
but the way I see it is they have this match be obvious so that the finals is less obvious, because like I said before, besides Reigns, Ambrose is like the only other guy who has even a remote shot at winning.
I don't know. I'm feeling Kevin Owens, especially after
I feel
Raw.
that they have Ambrose so that the actual finals is more exciting. Anyway, Juan says that Ambrose wins. As much as I'd like to see Owens advance, both Del Rio and Reigns advance on Raw, which probably means we'll get the Shield members match, which everyone predicted. Okay. Moving on to the world title semifinals, Reigns versus Del Rio. Keith, are you going to surprise us here or what?
If Alberto Del Rio wins this match, I will make a hat out of tortilla chips, and I will eat it. And I will eat my hat. Because there's no way, right? There's absolutely no way.
If the final match for Survivor Series is Owens versus Del Rio, I will shave my head bald. Specifically, if it is Kevin Owens versus Del Rio in the finals. Yes. Okay, so for Reigns versus Del Rio, of course, I'm going with Roman Reigns. Like I said, it's going to be Reigns versus Ambrose in the finals so that it is the most exciting and that you could actually believe that maybe, just somewhat maybe, Dean Ambrose could win. Because we still have this whole Triple H thing. You know, Ambrose could turn heel. Reigns could turn heel. Somebody's turning heel. Somebody has to turn heel. Because Triple H needs a new authority guy. He needs his man. You know, he's going to have his man.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, Juan. Juan has to be messing with us. Okay, he says Del Rio will win via armbar sharpshooter DDT piledriver 30 seconds into the match. Kalisto will then come out and do the lucha chant with Del Rio, who will be accompanied by the returning Mexicals Carlito Primo and Epico and Glacier.
Haven't seen him in a while.
Fandango will reveal himself to be Johnny Curtis once again, and Lito Kruger will roam the backstage area. Okay, his prediction just blew ours out of the water.
Exactly. And you know, it seems totally accurate. When was the last time you saw an armbar sharpshooter DDT pile driver?
It's been a while.
It has.
Since I could hold my head up high in the world title finals. Question mark versus question mark, aka Reigns versus Ambrose, or if you're Keith, Reigns versus Owens. So go ahead, Keith.
I think Kevin Owens is going to beat Roman Reigns in this match.
Now tell me how you really feel.
No, I'm being 100% serious here. I think that the whole Triple H going around looking for his guy, looking for the guy that will be willing to do anything, even though they kind of had that interaction on Raw, I think Triple H will find that guy in Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens takes the spot as the top heel in the company and the Authority's new guy, because Kevin Owens would be perfect for that role. And then they milk this whole Roman Reigns. Well, it's not a clean finish. Triple H is somehow involved as the authority figure, screws Roman Reigns out. They ride this whole Roman Reigns being so close, yet so far to the big one thing all the way until WrestleMania. So I honestly think Kevin Owens is going to win.
Is that really your final answer? You're committing to that?
I'm committing to that.
Seriously?
Seriously.
This is your... All right, well, you have one more chance to back out. You have
Ryan,
one more chance.
I believe. Okay? Not only do I believe in this. I was thinking about it, and I think that makes the most sense, and I would like to see Kevin Owens in that spot the most. So I'm going to go with my gut, I'm going to go with my heart, and say Kevin Owens walks out of Survivor Series as WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
All right, so I said that was your last chance to back out, but this is really your last chance to back out.
I believe. Okay.
All right. Okay, so going with Reigns versus Ambrose, the correct prediction for the finals.
Okay.
I am picking Roman Reigns to win. Okay, this is the ultimate, like, John Cena-ish WWE ending to this match, is that Ambrose is going to turn heel, but Roman Reigns is still going to win the match and become champion. And they're going to keep feuding, and Reigns is just going to win every single time.
So congratulations, they're back to where they started pre-WrestleMania.
Yes, no, this is going to be the ultimate WWE finish. Ambrose turns heel, Reigns wins. Okay, and Juan said whoever they decided to make heel is going to win.
So he's going with Ambrose, I would assume.
He's going with Ambrose or Reigns, because there is a chance. There is a chance that Reigns could turn heel. I certainly wouldn't rule that out, but I think they're going to go against the grain and actually turn Ambrose heel, which I think is a mistake. I think if anyone should turn heel, it should be Roman Reigns, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's why I think Kevin Owens is going to be that person.
Now, the interesting thing about this card, and of course, as I've said, SmackDown has not happened yet as of this recording.
Well, I was going to ask before you move too far away from it, do you think the Sheamus Money in the Bank factor applies to the main event, or do you think it's just something that they're going to hold on to for a future date?
I really don't think it's going to apply. I really think Sheamus, first of all, won't win when he does cash in. And so I only think they'd have him cash in if he was going to win, at least in this spot. So
maybe Sheamus is that Triple H guy, or ends up being the...
he could be. That's really not even that bad of a guess, but I personally don't think that's going to happen, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out. The thing that I was going to say, though, is... Interestingly enough, as of now, this is before SmackDown, there is no traditional Survivor Series match on this card.
But I think Seth Rollins' injury was kind of the reason why that happened, because you could take most of the people in this tournament, cut some of the fat, and then turn that into a 5-on-5 Survivor Series matchup. So I think that match got cut due to this tournament happening.
Oh, another thing. What about the New Day and the Usos? Are they facing off?
Are they?
All right. You know what? Live on the show, we're going to
pause.
WWE.com. Yeah, no pauses here.
Yeah, we're like Mr. No podcast pausings off.
This is shows how prepared we are for this.
I know.
Okay.
Let's
go to Survivor Series.
In my head, I can hear Illidan Stormrage yelling at us. And if you're a World of Warcraft fan, you will get that joke.
Okay, you know what? No tag team match as of now.
How interesting. So not even on the pre-show.
Yeah, there's a chance. Yeah, we don't know what the hell the pre-show... What is going on with this card? Seth Rollins messed everything up, man.
Damn it, Seth.
So... New Day, there's a chance like New Day and the Usos and all them kind of get lumped into a Survivor Series match, so maybe they don't do the tag titles.
Maybe.
So we'll have to see about that. We'll just tweet out our predictions when the full card's out. I'm not going to make any speculation because they can really go in a number of directions with that. So we'll hold off on that, and we'll just jump right into the questions. So Keith, take it away.
All right. You want to send us a question? Guess what? You can do that. Send it to our Twitter, Byte That Cast. YouTube, youtube.com/Byte ByteThatCast. That's the name of it. Send us an email. ByteThatCast@gmail.com, Facebook, ByteThatCast, and everywhere else you may find us on this beautiful thing we call the internet. Much like Cam B did, who asks, "Hey guys, what 3 WWE superstars, either past or present, would you choose to be on a table for 3 together that have not been on the show before? Obviously, the next best 3 after you guys." You know, this question just made me realize something. Those SOBs stole our idea. The SRT is pretty much a table for 3, isn't it?
Well, sort of.
I'm claiming complete, utter BS.
We're not exactly talking about our careers like they are.
True. But anyway,
but
who
we
would you
actually
like
did
to
have
see?
an idea to do something similar to that. It never came to fruition, but you could still see something like that down the line from us. But
who would you
anyway,
like to see, Ryan?
Who would I like to see? I don't know if any of these 3 have been on. I doubt it. But I would like to see kind of an Attitude Era one that was basically Stone Cold, The Rock, and either like Mick Foley or Triple H. Just kind of like integral pieces of the Attitude Era. Just all kind of just talking about that era. As well as, of course, I'd like to see one that has like The Undertaker, Kane, and I don't know who the third guy could be. Maybe Shawn Michaels or...
X-Pac.
I'm not sure. X-Pac. Yeah.
For my
Midian,
answer,
Naked Midian.
Naked Midian. Yeah, that would be.
And of course, one with
good
Vince McMahon. Oh, Vince, Triple H, Stephanie. That could be a hell of
That'd
a
be
one
a good
too.
one. Yeah, no. For my answer, I'm gonna try and cheat and not use superstars, but I would love to see like a promoters table for 3, where it's Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, and Eric Bischoff.
That would actually be very good too.
That would be an incredible table for 3.
And okay, Juan answered with Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and Kurt Angle,
Or Triple H.
And he would really like to see that happen. So a good answer from Juan.
Yeah, you hear that, WWE? When you're stealing our next idea, you can make these ones happen too. But thank you for the question, Cam. Our next question comes from Jack L, who asks, "Hey guys, how's it going? Pretty good, thanks for asking. My question is, when Rollins returns, do you see him using the pedigree? And if he doesn't, what should his finishing move be?"
It's actually a good question because a lot of people speculate when Rollins returns, there's a good chance he'll be a babyface and possibly opposing Triple H. So you kind of makes you ask yourself, if he's against Triple H, is he still going to use the pedigree? And I think that all depends on how he returns. If he returns and is back to exactly where he was before, yes, I think he's still going to use it. But if he comes back as the babyface rebelling against the authority, I think there's a good chance he picks up a different move. Just because, like I've said before, the pedigree is so... it is such a Triple H move. It is so ingrained in ourselves that is associated with Triple H that I think he'd have to kind of get away from it.
But at the same time, wouldn't that make more the reason why Seth Rollins would use the pedigree? Because if he comes back, let's say he feuds with the authority, it'll probably be some like thing with Triple H where anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So he keeps the pedigree to like almost say, maybe, like, this is mine now. It used to be yours, Triple H, but I do the pedigree now. I'm better.
But what
than
about
you.
After that feud? I could totally see that happening with that feud with Triple H. But would you think he'd keep it afterwards?
Absolutely, he would. Because that would just be his finisher. That's the match he wins, or that's the move he wins matches with.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I say it is because I don't think he ever quite made it his own, and he kind of left before he could really do that. Had he kind of had it for a long enough time where it really felt like his move, I'd say for sure he's still going to use it.
But I still think when he comes back, that's when that time is going to be. If he never got hurt, probably by about WrestleMania, it would feel natural for Seth Rollins to use the pedigree. So I think even though it hasn't happened now and it's left this giant question mark, it's something that still is going to happen eventually.
Mm-hmm. And Juan says on this question, I honestly hope not, especially if he returns as a babyface. I can't think of an alternate finisher that could work. Maybe a variation of the Michinoku driver, similar to Dana Brooke's finisher in NXT.
Maybe. It'd be weird for Seth Rollins to do like a pickup finishing move, though. But Nonetheless, thank you, sir, for the question. Our next one comes in from the true Prince of Pro, who asks, more like says, but some of my favorite moments from the Attitude Era came from Crash Holly and the Hardcore title. Those were some great moments. Crash defended the title 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in some of the most unique places. So I wanted to know if the WWE brought back the Hardcore title with the 24/7 rule, who would be the modern day Crash Holly, and what would be the weirdest place the belt could be defended?
This is a really cool question because I really loved the aspect of the 24/7 rule of the Hardcore title. So if they brought it back, the guy I would actually choose to kind of be that Crash Holly, I would pick Tyler Breeze. I think Tyler Breeze is like the right guy for it because he can kind of have that comedic side to him, you know, with his kind of ridiculous gimmick and just him trying to defend it. And I think an awesome place, you know, for the weird place for it to be defended is if he was like doing a modeling thing, like on a runway, and someone attacked him during like his modeling, whatever the hell it's called. And he had to basically defend it on the stage.
Yeah, like one of the people taking pictures just ends up having a referee with him and just tries to take out Tyler.
As he's trying to like go down the runway, he has to like fight on the stage, and I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be great. I'm gonna have to say Bo Dallas, because he could be this, like, if they brought back the Hardcore title as like a hardcore thing, it's the guy with the smile and the thumbs up who just gets like hardcore and will beat somebody up with whatever. And as far as the weirdest place, I'm gonna say a Bojangles. Bo Dallas defends at a Bojangles.
Yeah, I think we both agree it's a guy who can kind of have comedy type of segments that work for them. So Juan says, coincidentally enough, we'll be doing an SRT in the near future about the Hardcore title. As for who, I'd have to pick Dean Ambrose as Hardcore Holly and maybe Zack Ryder or NXT's Mojo Rawley as a Crash Holly. Santino would be my first pick if he was still around.
Yeah.
Santino was also someone I thought of course, but he is basically retired, I think. Officially,
I believe
not 100%
so.
on that.
I think he owns his own gym now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I know he opened up a wrestling school.
Indeed. But yeah, interesting question. Thank you for the question, sir. Our next one comes from Barnaballs, Barney Johnson, who asks, as I only started watching wrestling in 2014, I know not of Johnny Curtis. Juan, explain to me what made him so good. So, first of all, elephant in the room here. There's no Juan. I don't know if you've noticed by now, 49 minutes in-ish.
Barnavals, you picked a bad week to ask that question, my friend.
But,
yes, but lucky for you, because normally had Juan not answered these questions, we wouldn't give you an answer, but we're gonna be nice, okay? We're gonna be nice.
We did some research. We sat the Puerto Rican himself down, even though he's answered the rest of these questions already. We sat him down special for this question and got you an answer, Balls. We got you an answer.
So
Ryan,
here is Juan's answer regarding the Johnny Curtis Q. You can read this on the show.
Oh, thank you for your blessings.
Yes. I'm pretty sure you had to put that just to make sure we actually would read it. Okay, so the week I'm not on the show, we get questions about Johnny Curtis. It'll happen next week, but to summarize...
psych!
It was Fandango's previous character where he was a weird, awkward dude in NXT Redemption, and he kidnapped Matt Stryker. Also Maxine... Lucha Underground, Turtles, Keith in glasses. Okay, he got really weird. He must have been tripping or something. I don't know
like
at the end of that.
Take one too many PCP caps before...
He was on that Team PCE.
P. Anyway, so it's kind of an answer.
There you go. I guess more. Stay tuned for next week for the full answer if we don't try and stop Juan from fully answering.
Which I will do everything in my power to do so, but thank you for the question. Our next one comes from J4 Gaming, who
or
asked,
J Poor Gaming.
or J Poor Gaming, the little sad emoticon where the man's crying. How sad. But he asks, what do you guys think makes a good tag team?
I think it takes several things. One is...
What do you think's the most important
The
thing?
most important thing, I guess, is chemistry between the two. If it feels like they belong as a team, that they work well together, I think it's important to have at least gear that looks like you're associated with each other. I think that's actually important so that someone who doesn't know you sees the two of you and you're like, okay, those guys are a team.
You look like a cohesive unit.
So it's not only just kind of promo chemistry, but also in-ring chemistry, doing tag moves. Basically, instead of just like you do your moves, you tag the guy in, he does his moves, it actually looks like you guys are working together throughout the match. And of course, longevity, how long you last as a team, I think is important to kind of like how you make your mark. And that's all I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I would just like to add that you should either have chemistry or have no chemistry whatsoever. Like, there's no middle ground. Either be a really good unit or be the odd couple.
Well,
completely.
Almost that no chemistry is chemistry. Like, you can look at Team Hell No with Daniel Bryan and Kane. It's like their fighting and stuff was still kind of chemistry.
I know, and that's exactly
clashing,
the point I was getting at. Like, besides their whole millions of dollars thing, the primetime players shouldn't work, but they work because they're so different, at least in the ring. And I think that's what makes the primetime players work. So there's no middle ground. You don't don't either pick a side and commit to it. And I think that's one of the most important things that make up a tag team.
Yeah, and it's good. Like, tag teams can work certain ways where either both of them work a very similar style, or both of them, like, I'm the ground guy, he's the high flying guy, or I'm the technician and you're the powerhouse. You either diversify or you kind of are, like the Usos work a very similar style. And that also works. Whereas you could look at Daniel Bryan and Kane, where they worked very different styles, and that also works too.
Even
so
the New Day as a recent example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Big E as the power guy, and Kofi as the high flying guy, and Xavier Woods, they just never let do any moves ever.
So it works, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
So
an amazing mic chemistry.
Indeed. So thank you for the question, sir. Our next one comes in from Cody Collier, who asks, since this week is the 25th anniversary of The Undertaker, who do you think has been The Undertaker's best rival and why?
I would have to say Shawn Michaels, I think, is probably his best rival. I mean, they've had just the most iconic matches, from the first ever Hell in a Cell to their just insane WrestleMania matches. I think maybe not like as far as feud wise, but match wise, I think it has to be Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. I'm going to take a more old school quote approach and say Mick Foley, Mankind, where those two characters really evolved to become the greatest performers of all time together. Because if you think about The Undertaker, where he started out when he feuded with Mankind and where he ended up, it's just night and day. And same thing with Mankind, really. Those and they had incredible matches together. I mean, the one that people always talk about is the Hell in a Cell match where Mick Foley got thrown off. But even like their Boiler Room brawls, their no holds barred matches at the beginning, they were all great matches. And I think if you look back at some of the most defining moments in The Undertaker's career, you're going to see a lot of them involving Mankind during their feud.
That is also, it's a great answer.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from NKBE1324, who asks, how much WWE merchandise do you usually buy per year?
This is actually a really good question. Something we've never been asked like remotely before. I would say on average, I would buy like one t-shirt and or item per year, if that. I actually don't think I've bought a piece of WWE merchandise since the Daniel Bryan zip hoodie I got in, I want to say 2014, maybe even 2013. I got that. I'm probably 14, but yeah. So it's usually like one thing. I do really want to buy some New Day gear. I think I have to get something from them. They deserve my money in some way. So that'll probably be the next thing I get because I haven't got anything in a while. And I also wanted to get like a Kevin Owens shirt, but I still have yet to get that.
Yeah, I usually just order 1 or 2 things online per year. But if a house show comes through town, I'll always buy a t-shirt. So I guess it's kind of 1 or 2 pieces of merchandise plus house show ratio. Like this year I will have bought 3 things because there's been 2 house shows, and I bought... What did I buy online? I bought the Dean Ambrose, like, DA Anarchy shirt thing. I bought that online. So, yeah.
That is a cool one. I usually don't end up buying stuff at the house shows and stuff. I think the last thing I bought was the Daniel Bryan Yes, Yes, Yes shirt from a house show, because every time I want to get a shirt and I go to a show, they never have it.
Yeah.
They have like 6 different John Cena shirts, but they don't have like the one shirt that I wanted to get that was like, somebody else. I always kind of want to get more of like the fringe kind of guys, and they don't have
the kind of nice thing about being in a city where the house shows aren't big enough to warrant a John Cena appearance at this point is that you do get the shirts of those guys that you're actually going to see perform.
But see, I feel like I've even gone to shows where maybe Cena wasn't there and they still just sold a crap ton of John Cena stuff. Like they would sell the merch of the guy who wasn't there. I'm going to ask you a question of what was the first ever WWE shirt you ever got?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting question. The farthest back I can remember owning a t-shirt was a Bret the Hitman Hart t-shirt around the time that he was feuding with The Undertaker. It was some Bret Hart versus The Undertaker t-shirt that I owned.
With like their faces on it?
Yeah. It was like Bret Hart standing in the foreground and The Undertaker kind of looming over him in his like hands reached out pose in the background. It's a kind of cool shirt.
Yeah.
I think
I am always like, I always have a personal like vendetta against like show shirts, like shirts that basically expire the second the show's over.
I should say that was the last one of those I owned.
Like I'll never get the WrestleMania shirt that has the card on the back, or a shirt of like a house show or something like that.
Yeah.
Just personally, it's like
but it's like you were there. You were at the house show.
I was there,
where Bret Hart
but
fought the Undertaker.
Completely loses relevancy. Anyway, the first WWE shirt I ever got was the Dudley Boys, it was like Dudley Boys Lumber Company, and it said "We Got Wood" on the back, which it's like I was in middle school. I was like probably like 11 years old wearing a thing that said "We Got Wood" on it. It's kind of awkward. I probably should have got something else. I think I wanted to get the Dead Man Inc. Undertaker shirt, but they didn't have it, or they didn't have the right size, and I ended up getting that. And anyway, that was weird.
So here's a final follow-up question. What is your favorite WWE t-shirt you've ever owned?
That is a tough one. It might be either the Daniel Bryan Yes, Yes, Yes one, or I also have the black CM Punk logo one, with the lightning bolt. But I also had... What was it? I had a another CM Punk shirt, the one with the like the poker stuff on it and the clover leaf, the straight edge one. I thought that was a cool one, and of course the first RKO shirt as well.
Yeah, that one and the NWO style RKO t-shirt was really cool.
I never had that one.
That one's a cool one.
I never got the Parental Advisory Legend Killer one, which was cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My I would have to say either I have the lightning bolt T-shirt. The CM Punk one. I was a big fan of that.
The white ringer one.
Yeah,
that's probably the superior one. I ended up getting the later black one, but I do think the white one is the superior version.
Mm-hmm. What's it called? The knees to faces shirt that CM Punk came out with. I
See that one to me
one.
Is another one of those it's not after the Rock feud. It's not as great. It was cool,
but it was
a cool
funny.
idea.
I really liked it was humorous. The first Evolution T-shirt I was always a big fan of, the one with the Evolution logo on it.
Yeah,
because
that was a cool one.
They switched to that black and white one after a while, which was kind of weird. I wasn't a big fan of that. And like you said, the first RKO T-shirt, I thought.
Yeah, it was like the blue on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that wasn't the first RKO T-shirt then, because I think the NWO logo was the NWO.
No,
logo
I think the NWO.
No, it wasn't.
It came
that
after.
was later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my new favorite one could be, if I actually get it, is the New Day unicorn shirt, because that shirt is just absolutely amazing, and I have to get it.
It is pretty incredible. So thank you for the question, Mr. NKBE1324, and our final question of the show comes from Juan V. Whoever that guy is.
Sounds familiar.
Kind of, sort of, somewhat, maybe. But he asks, "Hey gang, hello. Huge fan of Ryan and that Hispanic guy." Which Hispanic guy? He's not here. "My question is about the master of the Feed Me More, Ryback. He's been babyface, he's been heel. Which do you think worked the most, and do you see him as a big investment for the WWE's main event scene in the near future? Or just sort of there?"
Keith is omitting something about Johnny Curtis in that question, and we're going to leave it out. So the master of the Feed Me More, one of the greatest nicknames ever.
It just makes me physically sick every single time I hear it.
Personally, for me, I think Ryback was at his best. And I'm not just saying because he was the lowest point in his career, but when Ryback was at his best was Rybaxel, at least when I think his character-wise, and I actually think that's when he really got his wrestling style down and just started to work a lot better. He seemed like himself with Rybaxel, so it really baffles me that when he talks about it in interviews, he looks down at that period of time, at least saying it was like a low point in his career, when I think he was doing the best work and really finding himself. So I prefer him as a heel, just kind of like a sarcastic, kind of silly heel that he was, calling himself like a 4-time WWE champion, even though he hadn't won a single title yet. So that is my favorite point in his career. And what I see him in the future, I see him as kind of like a Sheamus, in that he's going to kind of flirt with the main event scene every once in a while, but I don't see him as like a multi-time champion. I could see him winning the WWE championship for like a short run, but I don't see him as like a long-term solution as like a main eventer, even though he did recently comment saying like he wants to replace John Cena. I don't think he's that guy.
Yeah, the master of the Feed Me More and amazing catchphrases like that won't really do you any good in that struggle, but I don't know, to your point, Ryan, I kind of understand why he looks down at that time. Yeah, because that was awesome, and what he was doing some really cool stuff that we look back fondly at. But you have to remember how over Ryback was before then. Like when he was feuding for the championship and he first debuted, he was white hot. And some will argue
he was in like a how do I say this? He was
white hot in the Goldberg way, almost.
Yeah, it was because he still had his invincibility aura type of thing, but it was it wasn't like a real over. It wasn't like an over that you can have a down week and you're still over the next week. It was like if any little thing went wrong, it was over. Like he was over, but he wasn't established over.
But he went from that to absolutely nothing.
Yes.
So
partly because Mark Henry just sat on him and at WrestleMania and he just lost.
Yeah.
And then they turned him heel and made him look like a joke against John Cena.
Yeah.
And also that he didn't win a pay-per-view match from like SummerSlam till the next SummerSlam, basically.
Right, I totally forgot about that.
There
have been a couple
really
missteps in Ryback's career.
Just a few.
Let's say. But where do I see him going in the future? Honestly, like you said, kind of the Sheamus where he flirts with the main event feud. I think Ryback is going to be this generation's definition of a mid-carder. And you'll find...
But I mean, if he's flirting with the main event, like...
But still, there would be those weeks where, back in the day, where the mid-card would, get the big title shot, even though, there wasn't a hope in hell they were going to win. I think Ryback falls into that.
I mean, do you consider the mid-card anything that isn't, the main event?
I think...
Basically? Because everyone just kind of talks mid-card, mid-card, mid-card. There is such thing as a lower card, and there is such thing as, an upper card.
You know what, Ryan? You know what I think? I think
what?
People should stay tuned to youtube.com/ByteThatCast this Thursday and check out our thoughts on the mid-card in the latest SRT.
Yeah. Well, all I'm going to say about Ryback is if there is such thing as upper card, I think Ryback will be in that spot eventually and not just the mid-card.
Indeed.
All right. One last thing. Questions are done.
Okay.
One brought up an interesting point for us to maybe just do a little riff-raff on, and that is the Roman Empire. What do you think of that? Should that be a thing?
Fart noise. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, because it's one thing if people make signs like, oh, the Roman Empire or whatever, but when Reigns himself is like, is there anybody in the Roman Empire tonight? It's like, no, they got destroyed hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
It's going to make a really good DVD for when Roman Reigns hits a slump in his career, or if he has a self-destruction.
Yeah, the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Could be coming soon. All right, so we want to thank you guys for tuning into another edition of the Byte That podcast. Once again, thank you. I'm just going to say thank you a bunch of times. Hey, thank you for getting through this show with me and Keith. It was a journey. We had fun together, right, guys? Yeah. So anyway, if you want more from us, if this wasn't enough for
we
you,
are smart.
Yes, we are awesome. No, we're not gonna have that conceited chant. Anyway, you can get more of us and Juan, who wasn't here this week, by going to youtube.com/ByteThatCast. Like I said, this Thursday we talk about the mid-card and all that fun stuff on the latest SRT, the Square Roundtable, where we talk about things outside of the weekly riffraff of WWE. I'm just going to use that word all the time now.
I love that word, though.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool word. And of course, this weekend I'll do another discussion video on what? I'm not sure. So stay tuned for that. Well, we'll see how things develop. And of course, you can catch our social media. We are on Twitter at ByteThatCast. Our Facebook is facebook.com/ByteThatCast. You can check out our Instagram at ByteThat, as well as Wrestling Amino. We are ByteThat. If you want to send questions, send them to ByteThatCast@gmail.com. Anything else, you can go to ByteThat.com. So once again, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.